Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Antisyphon address space layout randomization webcast. I'm Ian Meyer. If you are looking for Ryan to do the introductions, he is out and under the weather, so we wish him very well in his recovery. But that's not what you want to hear about today. What you want to hear about today is our Thanksgiving weekend CTF, the Turkey CTF, and we have two wonderful people that I'm going to bring into the studio here right now, Noah and Serena. So let's kick me out, and there they are. Let's get everybody on the screen here. Wonderful. Hey, folks.
Hello.
How's it going?
Howdy. So you're going to tell us how to solve some CTF challenges, right?
Yes.
That's what we're trying to do.
Excellent. Okay. So hopefully everyone had a chance to do the Turkey CTF. Who was going first again? I'm sorry. Was it Noah or Serena was going to go first?
Me.
Excellent. Serena, the floor is yours. Let's hear how we solve some challenges.
Okay, cool. So the first challenge that I'm going to do is the confident hash challenge. There we go. Okay, cool. Hopefully you can see it decently enough. I will read it just in case. The problem says, check out this hash. Can you crack it? Here's a word list you can use. You only have 5 attempts to get the flag right. So here's the hash. One thing that we can do is run this through hash ID to come up with the identification of the hash. So let's see here if I... Oh, did it wrong, of course. Let me back this out really quick. Okay, for whatever reason, I wonder if I put it in parentheses, if this will give me a better one, because I was having this problem earlier, but I think...
I know when I did it, we did hash ID, and which drops you into like a line, and then you can put the hash in there too, and it comes out the other way.
Yeah, let's try that way too, because I was having that problem where then it comes with crypt16, but that is not what we're looking for.
The other one that I tend to do is if you take that like $2A $04 and then just like shove it in Google and then go with the first Google result, you'll sometimes figure out what the hash is if you don't have fancy tools like hash ID. I actually just learned about hash ID today, so
yeah, no worries. How long did it take you when you did the hash ID and then enter? Or
no, it doesn't come back. Like it's effectively a prompt waiting for you.
See,
I thought it was hung too.
All right, cool. Well, now we have the right one. It's bcrypt right here. So what I can do is use hashcat. You can Google and find this ID that you need for hashcat. So just like Google hashcat encryption ID, and then for bcrypt it's this 3200. I saved the file in a file called hash because I already used hash for a different thing. And then this confident I'm sure that's like directory or something .txt. You can get this by doing like a wget and using the URL right here. So just do wget and get that, and you can download that file right there. So that's how we have it. Hopefully you can see it. I'll move it up a little bit more. All right. Enter. There we go. And let's see. Where did it go? Oh goodness, hold on. It's like the demo gods here. I think it just cut off. If I make it wider. No.
It looks like the log actually just like started and then stopped. That's kind of odd.
That is odd. Let's try with that. All right, let's do... Oh, there's a little bit of feedback.
I think it's saying your hash file is empty at the info slot there. No, but it doesn't look empty.
It does not. All right, let's try if I make a new file. So live troubleshooting is always, the best.
You can teach people how to get out of Vim now too.
That is true. That might be the most important thing we learn. All right, escape, right, quit. Okay, let's try the same hashcat, but I'm going to use the new file. What the heck? Okay.
Spark says do tac show.
I think oh, there we go. Okay. Cool. All right. So we have it here, Galactica hash, and that is going to be the name that you will put in for the flag. So that is the first problem done with a little bit of troubleshooting.
Oh, that's how doing these challenges goes, though.
Right?
When you see us do them all like ahead of time, because we did them before. So
yeah. Orthicon put in a note here. Can we look at the CTF scoreboard? Is that still up?
Yes, we will cover the winners after we go through the challenges.
Gotcha. Cool.
Oh, yeah. Nate says it's already in the pot file. Woo, let's go Vim. Yes, I'm a Vim user. Only because it was the first thing I ever learned, and then I just didn't want to learn anything else.
Yeah, see, I'm lazy. I just use Nano, but I'm not part of the PC master race that way, I guess, or something. All right, so we're going to be doing staging in 1, 2, 3. It's a nice one to start with. So this one, you get this, the IR team identified evidence that a threat actor accessed a system that contains sensitive company information. Boring, the chief information security officer, aka CISO, wants to know if any of the data accessed was taken. Of course he does. There was a suspicious file created during that time frame of threat actor activity, and it's listed right here. It was located at C, it looks like. Can you check it out? So we get this like TMP/temp file here. And I've already downloaded it for your convenience, but you can just click it and download. So the biggest thing is here, you're going to look at it and you're going to be like, I don't know what this is. And there's two things you're going to do. One, you're going to take this file here. You're going to open it in Notepad++, which is probably terribly outdated. Yep, there you go. And then you're just going to do some go up here to edit. You're going to go to find. And this is where I don't know where it is. There it is. Search find, and then we're going to search for I think it's meta flag. No, okay. Well, I have already forgotten what the flag is. Yeah, and you're gonna have to deal with binary and Notepad and all that stuff, and it's really, really gross. But what you can do instead, if you don't want to do it quite like that, and you're like, well, what is this file? So it's obviously got binary in it. For those who don't know, whenever you open up something and it looks that ugly, that's a binary file in a ASCII text renderer, and anyhow. So then that's where we can go to our Linux box, which in this case you might notice I'm using a Windows box, but I got WSL, and my terminal doesn't want to open. There we go. So we're going to drop down into a Kali Linux shell. There we go. And ls, we're going to see we have xyz.tmp right there. So if you go file, and then that file, it will then tell you what type of file it is. So in this case, saying it's 7-zip archive data. If you know what the 7-zip archive data extension is, and the reason, so just so we know why this works. So when you use file, you're actually looking at what's called magic bytes. So at the beginning of every file is what we have is called magic bytes. And it effectively works on, it's how Linux and Mac understand what type of file a thing is, other than the shebang lines and stuff like that. So all of the 7-zip files have the same magic bytes. It's effectively the extension that Windows uses to identify things, but in the front, it's like a prefix. So in order to make Windows understand what this is, if you had this on, if you were to do this on Linux, you could straight up just use the 7-zip command line utility, and just unzip it and tell it to unzip it. It'd be fine with that. But if you want to make Windows understand it, because I want to hack with Windows today, we're going to rename the extension to .7z. And it's going to say, like, warning, this can change your files. Well, that's fine. And then we can open that with 7-zip. And you will now find your flag, which says meta CTF. You might consider using encryption. Why meta didn't work before in Notepad, I'm not entirely sure. That's how I found it the first time, I know. But this is a much cleaner way of showing it. So that's how you use file to identify like random files, and then you can open them up and figure out what's there. Also, if you dig through this file, there's a bunch of like secrets and memes. So you should go follow up with that. It's fun. All right, Serena, back to you.
Cool. The next one that we're going to be doing is Impossible Survey. It says your company just developed a new product, and before releasing it to the public, they decided to gauge the reactions for their employees through a survey. As an incentive, the participants get a gift card after completing it. The company-wide email was sent a while ago, yet no one has submitted the survey or claimed the gift card code. Can you be the first one? So we click on the survey link here. And let's see. Okay. Now we can type in a bunch of things.
Serena, have you actually ever watched this video though?
No, I haven't.
It's definitely something to go back and watch. So for our viewers, like, go watch it because it's pretty hilarious.
It says we need 50 characters. I honestly don't know what 50 characters looks like. Less than a tweet, right? So just typing in things. And it just keeps saying me too short needs 50 characters. Just keeps on. Okay, that's got to be at least 50. Anyway, so one thing that you can do is view page source, which is a great thing to do just all the time. Like during these challenges is to check out page source because you can find a lot of hidden things in there.
Well, slash just when you're browsing the web in general, like if you're just like, I'm slightly bored but still browsing the internet, so not that bored, just do like Control U and you'll just find all sorts of notes from developers and everything else. Also running with the console open is a real fun time.
Do we need to bring up the text size there a little bit, or could we?
Oh yeah, we can do that. Let me zoom in very close.
So we can watch this one line of HTML.
Just we're gonna get one letter at a time.
Just like the olden days.
All right, there we go. So if we just scroll, we can see obviously there's just like some CSS formatting, things like that. Fonts. I'm just gonna scroll a little bit further. Now, at some point, I will find, okay, so it says Impossible Survey. Please answer a few questions. I'm just going to scroll to like the end-ish area. And then here we go. So it says your gift card code is this meta CTF. So who's going to report this bug to Google? We don't actually have to take the survey to use this. The reason that the survey doesn't work is that there's just conflicting requirements, so it won't allow the survey to work. But we can still get the gift card code anyway, and we can see here who's going to report this bug to Google. So basically, it shows us at the end the information that gets posted when you actually complete the survey. And I guess that hasn't been fixed. So fun fact. But there's your flag.
All right, I've been told I have some audio issues, but we're gonna kind of roll with it. All right, so get my screen sharing going again. Do not need to share restream. All right. So next one we got is welcome to the obfuscation games. I mean, the boilerplate conversation as to what's going on aside, you can pretty much see that there's just some code here, and you're like, somewhere inside of all this gibberish is the flag I want. So there's a couple ways you could do this. You could try to understand all of this stuff, which it would be good to figure out. I mean, you have some base64 stuff going on. You have some gzip stuff going on. You could go through and troubleshoot this all through CyberChef. But I think that sometimes when we're doing these CTFs, we overcomplicate things just a little too much. So what I've done is I've made just a PS1 file. And it's the exact same code. I just copied it out. And I want to open this with VS Code. And we're going to break down this code. And we'll see if my text sizes were right, because I don't think I checked VS Code. Oh, looks like it's better-ish. We can, again, look at an entire line of stuff. Let's see here. I can do word wrap on this. View. Y'all can figure out. There we go. Word wrap. Okay. So this is our like script that we have of sorts. And so we can do all this stuff, but alternatively, yes, we're just going to run some strange code. You can basically defang this code. And this IEX is the PowerShell invoke expression commandlet. Alternatively, rather than invoking the expression, we could just replace that with write host. And if you replace those 3 characters with these, however many characters are here, and then you run this code, so we're just going to copy this, jump to our terminal, go to PowerShell, paste our code, and now you can just run this strange code. I'm not saying you want to do this with actual malware, but for CTFs, this is totally acceptable. And you're going to say it's going to come out and the flag is the encoded payload, and then you got this other stuff, and then it's like, and here it is, right here. So it's a bit of a lazy way out, but you can totally do it. Like I said, you could totally go through each one and do the gun zip and the base64 stuff. But I thought that way might be a little more obvious. This is a little bit of a fun way to do it, and it does make it a lot quicker to solve. So just replace that IEX with the right host, and it spits it out for you. And the reason why is because instead of like running it, it just does this. So if you would have run it, it would tell you that the flag is the encoded payload, and then ran stuff, and you would have got errors. But anyhow, Serena, back to you. That is the entirety of that challenge.
Yeah, some of these are really quick challenges. Okay, so the next one that I'm going to be doing is diving into the announcement. So it says vulnerabilities are patched in software all the time. For the most serious one, researchers work to build a proof of concept exploit for them, as offenders need to continuously monitor when new public exploits drop and figure out how they work and ensure we're protected against them. At some point, Microsoft announced this CVE right here. And it says your task is to locate a public exploit for it and identify the vulnerable function for the proof of concept call. The flag will be the function's name. So doing what 80% of my job is just, Google CVE exploit. And
see, this is where I do love Google Chrome, because it has that fun option. You can just select it and then immediately Google it. So it's really fun when you use like Teams in the browser and stuff, and people ask me questions and I just highlight their text and then right click and search for their question.
Yeah. Here is a public exploit on GitHub. Here you can actually click and see the full writing for it. So one of the functions, let me see, the one that I found ended up being this right here. So it says clear a new password that contains a new password encrypted specified in calling this function. And that's the flag. That's it.
Can you increase the text size just real quick, Serena?
Oh, yes. Yes, I can.
So they can see the tag. There we go.
Is that better? Okay, yeah. So
Yeah.
um netar server password set 2 is one of the functions being called. And yeah, you could put that right in the flag box. There's 2 different ones. But this one works, and then there's another one that works as well.
We have people calling out like, well, that's not the right format though. Well, technically, I will tell you, if you wrap that function inside of the meta CTF and then like squiggly braces, it will allow it. That's built into the like programming for it. So you can use that if you want, or you can just drop it in there.
Yeah.
Um,
Offside also said compute net logon credentials is the other, which is true.
right.
That is the other one for that.
All right. We're just flying through these.
Someone says this is way easier than how I did it.
Right.
I feel that sometimes. All right, I think you have the last one, which is the hardest one out of the 3.
Yes. I was just laughing at Proxmox's comment there.
Mm.
That was yeah. Anyhow, let me get my screen going again here. Get back with the program. All right. Okay, so this was by far like one of the hardest ones there. King to Queen 3. So oh, okay. I need to I get distracted by the chat. I need to stop looking at the chat. Sorry. So an employee on the network has been emailing these chess puzzles every day to someone outside of the domain, and nobody really thought it was suspicious until they saw this weird string sent to the same person on the following day. Here is the weird string. The SOC team has provided an archive of the email attachments and has tasked you to investigate the actual contents of the ciphertext. Can you figure out what they've been saying? Hint, the flag is wrapped in meta CTF. This should be enough to help you figure out the encoding. So first off, the challenge specifically, I want to highlight right here. This is a crypto challenge, first and foremost. It is not ROT13, and I will explain why in just a minute. But this is an encoding, not a encryption. So if it's encoded, then we can surely just drop it in CyberChef, right? So we're going to copy that, go to CyberChef, paste, and because we're too lazy to try all the different encoding stuff, we're just going to do magic and see what happens. And magic has let us down, unfortunately. So we have I like look at the chat and then anyhow. So we've got magic has let us down, which who knew the day existed. But if we get rid of magic, if we think about it, we had someone ask about ROT13, but I'll say why ROT13 won't work. And I think if I put in ROT13, it will tell you it doesn't work. No, it doesn't say that. Anyhow, okay, so the reason why ROT13 is not to be used is because ROT13, this will explain why it doesn't work. If you look at ROT13 does not include all ASCII characters. It only includes alphabetic characters. So if you look here, you have your S got switched. Your F turned into an S, but your caret is still a caret. Your semicolon is still a semicolon. These are all in the exact same places. The reason why is because there's a similar cousin, which is ROT47, which uses all of ASCII. So if you try ROT47, and then we just are going to kind of play around with this, and it's an encoding. When they say it's encoding, it's probably going to be ROT something, unless it's Hebrew cipher or something crazy like that. And this isn't a 600 point challenge, it's a 300. So we're gonna just start iterating through stuff for a minute and see if we can figure out if it makes any sense. And they did tell us specifically that it starts with meta CTF. And hold on a second. So they said it starts with meta. We have MET. Well, that's interesting. Let's try 8. Tactics, but in leak speed. I don't know if that's viewable enough here. But like, yeah, that's almost certainly probably sort of kind of related. So we know that like apparently it's all chopped up because we have the MET here. If we switch back to A, here's the CT for the F and the A for the end of the meta. And then this is obviously leet speak. So probably you know, yes, ACT is right. So probably something to that. And you could just go through and try to figure this all out the hard way by just rotating through stuff until you figure out the solution. But there was a whole other part to this challenge, which were the chess challenges. And you might have like opened these up and said, wow, that looks really hard. And then you just quit effectively and went back to the other. And you know, that would be fair. But let's just analyze this for a second. So effectively what you got to kind of figure out is you got to figure out what moves you can make that would make any sort of like remote sense. So we have, for those who've played chess would know, like there's a knight that can jump to this knight, but then this knight can get them. Interesting. There's a bishop here, there's some stuff like that. So yeah, okay. And if you look at it, there's 9 of these puzzles. And if you calculate out the characters in the string text, effectively, if you divide those two, and I've lost my Cyber Chef, you divide those, that means that every 3 characters relates to 1 picture. So, yeah, the hint is if you hit the hint, it was white's move, so you're playing as white, which you can also know because it's the one closest to you. But there's only one solution to each puzzle. Yes. And the nextchessmove.com is an awesome resource for figuring this challenge out. So we do know we have like that first like met part. So if we go to 7, we can kind of come up with the challenge. I mean, you can go with you can figure it out the hard way, or you can just be like, okay, there's a 7. So the answer's got to be 7. And then that's how I kind of figured out like how this whole puzzle thing worked. Which means, wait a second, there's 8 numbers here. And then there's, you know, A through H here. Well, I don't need that, but I do need to know how much to rotate by. So we have 7 if we jump to here. So that will end on a 7. All right, that kind of makes sense. And then we know that the next one is 8 because we have that ACT right there. And if I go back to the pictures, apparently opened a bunch of those. This challenge took a minute to wrap my head around, so I'm trying to make sure I'm explaining it properly, y'all. This is going to be an 8 move. And if we look at this, we can take this queen and go after this rook. So there we go. That's going to be your 8. So then we just have to solve these challenges. And what we're going to get going is we're going to start decoding the flag. So what we're going to do is for that first one, we're going to take 7. We're going to take the first 3 characters. We're going to open up a notepad document. And we're going to paste that in there. Then we're going to go to 8. We're going to take those characters. And we're going to grab those. And my microphone is right in the way. So then you can, of course, like you keep working through it, or you just do the challenges. They're not too bad. 3. Let's see here. I've not solved all these challenges. I'm going to be completely honest. Effectively, I'm going to do a couple of them, and then we're going to go from there. So white is going to move. In this case, we're going to probably go with to 7 again. So we can do a check there. So let's go 7. Yeah, that was right. Probably should have actually wrote down what the flag comes out to, so you didn't have to watch me. I'll do it live. 4. I just opened the picture and closed it. There we go. I meant to zoom it in here. So for 4, let's see what we got. White's move going for the king. probably to 4 right here where my hand is. Also, I don't know why I'm doing this in Windows 10, like picture viewer. I should have put a better thing on there. And I've now lost track of what number I'm on. Well, okay. So you get the idea. What it sums up to, in the end, the flag is going to come out to 99% tactics. And I might have did that last challenge wrong, which probably would have made this a lot easier for me to understand what's going on. But that is how you solve the challenge. I've given you the tools. So that is that last one there. Oh, and we need to do the scoreboard.
Yeah, let's bring up the scoreboard.
Let me pull that scoreboard.
We were supposed to announce in the beginning.
Well, I said we were going to announce it afterwards.
Oh,
No,
okay.
it's audible.
I've altered the deal.
Pray he doesn't alter it further.
All right. So many of y'all got the got all the challenges, but the first 3 are the ones who are going to be our prize winners this time around. And Ian, the screen is coming to you.
Are we ready? All right.
Yep. So this is our scoreboard. We got top 11. There we go. I snuck peeked on the 12th and 13th.
Will you zoom in a little bit?
Yes, we can definitely do that. There we go. So Wayward Sun got the first place. They were the first one to complete all the challenges. And then Troxel and Logic Bomber. So those people, we have your emails. That's not supposed to sound like ominous. That's just how it is. And we will be sending you gift codes for the Spearfish General Store. So,
yay!
I think that's all I have.
Congratulations!
Indeed, congratulations to everyone, and Noah and Serena. Thank you so much for walking us through it and taking us through the challenges and whatnot. We had a lot of lively chat there. So have a great rest of your day. I'm going to drop you two out and do a little close up here, and we'll wrap up the stream. How's that sound?
Sounds good. See you.
Awesome. Thanks again. All right, everyone. That was the Turkey CTF walkthrough from Black Hills Information Security and Antisyphon. And if you are looking to learn how to hack more stuff good and do other things good too, check out the Antisyphon training page at antisyphon.com, where you can learn all kinds of stuff more about these wonderful CTFs and whatnot, and keep an eye on our Discord as well. If you are not over on the Infosec community sharing Discord, please come join us. We're having a lot of fun over there. You meet a lot of good people and learn a lot of things. I put the link inside of the chat here, but it's also on the screen now. So you can go to https://discord.gg/BHIS. So that's it for us. Please come check us out on the Discord. Come check us out in our future webcasts. Again, I'm Ian Meyer for Serena and Noah. And again, thank you for being here. We look forward to having you on another Antisyphon address layout randomization webcast. Have a great day.